hey, should we reminisce? Should we do a little bit of nostalgia,
Hey,
Tim?
I'm up for this. Hey, I'm very nostalgic now after I left it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just say, like, because I'm hearing about it, and what struck me is, like, the people who know me, have been around me and talked with me, certainly have been with me at the Athletic, are not surprised I made this move. My frustrations with the Athletic are well documented, documented in the company. We don't have to go over it that much here. I'm a local guy. I just feel that's where the contact with the reader is the contact with the reader who will pay for it, the contact that lasts over time, that's every day, and they're moving away from. They just are, period. But so if you're, no one was surprised if I found something else I was gonna go. It's other people who weren't really in contact with me or didn't really know, or who've been at places for a long time, and like, God, you just did this a little while ago. You're doing it again. Like, no, like 7 years is a long time in this business. If you're going to the next, if you're trying to find where the curve is taking you, and if the company I'm at is no longer that serviceable for doing what I do, and so another company presents itself, it's not that big a deal to move to the company that's going to present me the chance to do it. It's just an interesting kind of, it's a massive gap there between the people who get it, which is most people, and the people who don't get it. Why would you keep doing this? Like, why would you stay at a dying place? I'm not the Athletic, by the way. I'm being clear about this. The Athletic will be there for a long time. I mean, other media platforms. It's like, I don't want to be at the place that's giving away business every single day. I felt that at the LA Times in like 1995. I mean, I'm sure as hell going to feel that at the Mercury News in 2015. And then, when I think the Athletic's going another direction in terms of what readership it wants, I'm going to feel that now. And I felt it for several years. The Standard was exactly what every question I would have had, they answered. It's local, do your stuff. And very well funded. It just was such an easy thing. It's just interesting to me is when you're describing yourself and myself as optimistic about it, I think what we're optimistic about is that there's a product wherever it is that is marketable. Like, there is something that we can do as writers first, we podcasters, wherever else we do, but as writers first, as reporters, analysts, columnists, whatever else you want to name us, that we're kind of portable. But what we do can go from newspaper to website to something else to something else. And we're just looking for the delivery system. And what I think other places or other people get confused by or get stuck on is they think because they're at the newspaper, that's where it is.
Yes.
And you and I, anyone younger than me thinks that way, basically. But people my age or about my age sometimes don't see that. And they just look at me as this bizarrity. And like this one, like they gave me the Athletic, but this one is a bridge too far. What are you doing? You're just, no, you got to go where the platform is. You got to go where the delivery system is. You got to go where the backing is. And this is not, I don't know. I feel like I was at the Athletic too long, actually, Ethan, is what I feel like. And when you, Glenn, it's like, what the hell? What am I still doing here? Now, you went to Substack, and I've asked you about Substack. I was thinking about it. That doesn't quite feel right for me. It's certainly an option out there. It maybe really fits what I am best at, which is just write. It's not quite where I'm at the Standard. That's cool. I like fitting into, grooves and finding where that is. I thought about it. It's certainly something I might end up thinking more about, but right now I like being part of a newsroom. I like being part of an organization. I like having editors. I like all that stuff. I like the energy of all those things. So again, it's like, I have been struck by it though. Like, people looking at me, friends of mine, they're like, what are you doing? Why do you keep changing? I go, 7 years in this industry is a long time. And the company changes so fast. How many times has Apple changed, right? How many times has all these other companies, they change. And then you find your spot with it. And then if that spot's been turned into something else, you go to find another spot in another company. And I just do my thing. I took great satisfaction that my last column for the Athletic wasn't a goodbye column. It was just a 49er column. And then my first column for the Standard wasn't hello or anything. It was a 49er column. Like, this is what I do. Yeah, it's just
I was looking, Tim, I was
yeah,
looking for it today. I was going, where's Tim's introduction column? I was
I,
looking for it. I mean,
I
I
might
like all the
still,
Snyder's
yeah,
content.
I might
I
still do
so,
it, but because they make money, they do make money, but we're not subscription yet. So you might
mm,
see some weird thing from me when we go subscription, and I think it's later this month. Maybe not. I kind of like it. I definitely was not going to write a goodbye. I don't think they would have let me write a goodbye column. I've never written a goodbye column. I'm kind of proud about that. Not putting any others down. I get it, and many of them are fantastic. But goodbye columns are kind of like when you don't want to go and you're going,
mm.
and I'm always going, and the place that's losing me is mad. Like, I like that. They're mad I'm leaving. Right? They don't want me to grab business away from them elsewhere. And I kind of like that. Like, they're not allowing me, and I wouldn't want one. Know me. I'm not that kind of person where I'm going to write this syrupy look back. I probably will if I'm retiring, but that's not happening anytime soon. So if I'm going to a next place, I want to beat the place I just left. So why would I write a goodbye thing for them? I want to write something in. And yes, I had some things in my pocket, if you could tell in the columns I've written for the Standard, that I wasn't going to write for the Athletic. And like, I have some of that too. It's marketing, right, Ethan? It's like,
Yeah.
That's where you and I have always, it's entrepreneurial a little bit, I think. Like, we have our own ideas of what our value is, what we bring to the table, and we know what it looks best, what the volume is best, and what the kind of the process is to get money for it. And I think it has to be. That's one thing. Michael Moritz, the funder of the Standard, billionaire, former tech journalist. I just love that journalist turned billionaire. It's a great little, great little career path. But he really believes that journalism has to be profitable. It has to be. It has to be in the capitalism market. And I 100% agree with him. Don't go clickbait. Just do stuff that makes people want to pay for you. That makes it worth it. I think the Athletic was perfect for that. And I will always compliment, the founders, Alex Madler and Adam Hansman, for just like, you're gonna have to pay. You have to pay for this. You just have to pay for this. And then, like, if you're not worth it, and then you're not gonna make it. And if you are worth it, then you make it. I always appreciate that part.
I was the best place I ever worked at, and I could also understand why other people in the business regarded it as very harsh, just a very harsh place, because, and people who work really harsh jobs listening to this are probably rolling their eyes when I say that. But the idea that you would see how many subscriptions you were generating and be judged according to it took a little getting used to, and it took a little bit of backbone. It took a little bit of whatever. God, I'm going to get killed for this. Comparing ourselves to athletes, Tim. But the way an athlete has to deal with a slump.
This is Ethan. This is not me. Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
the way an athlete has to deal with a slump and understand, I've got to trust the process. And maybe I haven't gotten a hit in my last 11 attempts, but I'm not going to change what I'm doing, or I am going to change what I'm doing constructively. And I've seen that, especially, I think I was given a gift in that I was at the Athletic before I went to Substack, because that allowed me to at least build up those muscles. I saw some people start Substacks going right from the Atlantic or some of these other publications, and then they would write about it, and they looked like they were just going insane to me. They just looked like they could not handle it. And my subscribers are threatening to unsubscribe, and I can't do it anymore. And so I'm going back, and it's just,
I don't want to laugh.
They threat.
That's a great point.
But it's just, they threaten to unsubscribe. They do unsubscribe sometimes, and it's your job not to burden them with your neurosis, and it's your job to just be okay with whatever you're doing and give them a product. And if they don't want it or they don't like it, they don't. But that's something that I think it's almost, there's a harshness to it. It's almost everything's too accounted for. And I understand people not wanting to deal with that. That one makes sense to me.